We need concern. We need to be concerned. Now, all of us are concerned in different ways, right? We're concerned about different things. For example, my daughter Tatum is 3 years old. Wonderful, wonderful child. And the other day, my 3-year-old daughter Tatum, she bent the truth. We'll put it that way. I saw her do something. I watched it happen, saw it happen. I saw Tatum do it, and I said, Tatum, why did you do that? And she said, Dad, I didn't do that. I said, Tatum, I saw you do it. Come on now. I saw you do it. Why did you do that, Tatum? She said, Dad, I didn't do it. She bold-faced lied to me. Like, I saw it all happen, yet she, without even a stutter, lied. Straight up lied to me. She's 3. I expect that at 13. She's 3. That concerns me, right? It concerns me. It concerns Sarah. All of us have different concerns, right? But here's the problem with concern. In the church, we often get concerned about people and groups of people, but we don't have compassion towards them. And out of concern, we begin to judge. And we begin to look at other people's lives and we begin to say, you know what? You need to stop all that smoking. Or you need to stop all that drinking. Or you need to quit living your life that way. And so we get concerned about other people's behaviors and other people's lifestyles, and we begin to look at them in the church, and we begin to look at them through the lens of judgment. And we lack compassion. We have concern, but we're lacking in compassion. And what I think is one of the biggest problems with the church in America, not this church, of course, but is that we often have concern for people before we practice compassion. And that's not the way of Jesus. That's not how we become spiritually fit in our lives. Because when we have compassion for people, we're no longer concerned just about their behaviors or the way they act or the way they look. When we have compassion for people, we begin to be concerned about where they're going to spend the rest of eternity. That's a concern that matters. Did you know there are 1.7 million people that live in the Austin Metroplex area? Out of that 1.7 million people who live here, 1.2 million of them say, I don't believe in God at all whatsoever. They call themselves religiously unaffiliated, no belief, no relationship with God. That is 1.2 million people in our area. Those are your neighbors. Those are your friends. Those are your coworkers. 1.2 million people who are lacking in a relationship with God. That's staggering, folks. And I want to say, what would it look like if we as a church allowed that to be our primary concern? The fact that we have this love and this grace that we can share with people who don't know Christ. What if our main concern, the main concern of this church, was not people's behavior or the way they act or the way they stand on one political position or another? What if our primary concern was whether or not they had a relationship with Jesus? I believe that would change us. It would change our hearts. It would change this church. It would change the world. You see, Jesus was concerned not just about whether or not these people had food. He was concerned about whether or not they had a relationship with Him. And so I want to ask, what if our concern wasn't just changing somebody's behavior, but it was sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ? What if our concerns were motivated by compassion instead of judgment? I believe it would be a total game changer. Because guys, we're all concerned about something. Save the whales, save the dogs, save the planet. We all have concerns. And I'm not saying any of those concerns are a bad thing. Those are good causes. But the ultimate cause that any follower of Jesus should really live for, the thing that they should throw everything down on the line for, is the cause of Christ, the cause of expanding the gospel of the kingdom of God. That is why we should live. That is why God has placed us here on earth and placed His Spirit in us and shown us the beauty and grace of His Son Jesus and His sacrifice. That is why we live. That should be our concern. You see, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry. See, right there, Jesus is immediately anti-paleo. Nothing against the paleo diet, but Jesus was anti-paleo because He said, I am the bread of life. Anyone who eats of me will never hunger again. And why did Jesus say that? He said that because he knew that everything else that you attempt to fill that God-shaped hole in your heart with, everything else that you attempt to fill it with is only going to leave you unsatisfied. It's only going to leave you still hungry, still thirsting for more and more and more. Another relationship, not going to satisfy you. Another car, not going to satisfy you. Another job or a promotion. All of these things are still not ultimately going to satisfy. They're still going to leave you hungry. Jesus said, I am the bread of life. Anyone who eats of me, I will fill you, I will satisfy you, and I will complete you. And as followers of Jesus, we are called to be filled with compassion and concern for where people will spend the rest of eternity. And friends, that can change you, and that can change the world.